the U.S. lost 701,000 jobs in March. Unbelievable. 10 million people in 2 weeks filing for unemployment. Crazy. Joining us now, the CEO and president of the Job Creators Network, Alfredo Ortiz. Alfredo, you're on the John Fredericks Show. Great to have you back, man.
Hey, John, thanks so much.
10 million people applied for unemployment. We
That's right.
talked earlier today, and I'm like, what's your projection here? I mean, where's this going? And I believe you said to me that you thought this number was going to continue to go up for a while. You want to elaborate on this?
Yeah, you know, this is, if you remember, I think last time I just told people, look, just brace yourself, right? I mean, this is going to be ugly. The next 45 days is going to be ugly. There's no other way of looking at it. But again, we got to remember that we are going to get out of this. And you look at things that are coming up literally by the minute, by the hour, almost in terms of potential ways of attacking this virus, right? And coming up with solutions. Everybody's been talking about the hydroxychloroquine and the zithromycin, and around the world seems to be successful. So testing, for example, protocols are coming out by the minute almost. So that is a big part that's going to change that curve that everybody keeps referring to, where we talk about hundreds of thousands of deaths and stuff like that. Those kinds of things are going to really, really change that curve. And so I'm extremely optimistic from that perspective. But in terms of the job losses, John, I think you remember I kind of made my estimate. It's probably going to be somewhere about 20 to 22 million when we're all said and done. That's just the reality. When you look at the hourly workforce, for example, it's about 82 million people, before this crisis. That's just the hourly workforce. And so when you think about, 20 million, it's roughly, maybe a quarter of that population is probably going to get hit in some way, shape, or form. But we got to focus on the positive, because if we only stay on the negative, John, this is what concerns me, is this country is going to basically go through PTSD effectively, right? And we've never seen anything like this if we just only start talking about and only keep talking about the negative. Because as Americans, we know we're going to get through it, right? And American ingenuity and creativity and the way the unity that I'm seeing, I mean, I'm focusing right now on the good stories that are out there, in terms of people doing the right things, from, the housewife that's making sandwiches, I heard, and lunches, and just giving it, to people who need it, to the larger, companies that are just completely changing their manufacturing systems, to accommodate the production of N95 masks. I mean, it's all across the board. And I really would love to have more of those stories, quite frankly, because I think we need to, as Americans and just as human beings, to hear some of those stories so that we do have hope, because it's going to get ugly, like I said, over the next 45 days, and we just have to batten down the hatches and brace ourselves for it, but know that we've got great leadership from the top that's going to get us out of it.
We need some positive, no question about it. 20 to 22 million people filing for unemployment. Unemployed is what means that I think our unemployment would be somewhere about 18%. I mean, that's going to be higher than it was during the Depression. I keep saying this over and over, Alfredo. We can get through April, and we can get through probably some in May with this, right? There's enough stimulus out there, and we're going to talk about that package for small businesses in a moment. But this thing lingers on through the summer with this shutdown. I don't think, it could be a decade and a half before we ever got out of this. I mean, people just don't understand. You can't just turn a small business off and then come in August and hit the spigot and turn it on again. It's gone, right?
Yeah.
And these are millions of jobs. So that's only my concern, is that I think May we can get through June. There has to be, in my view, an acceptance that we're all going to have to figure out how to live with this virus for a while and get on with it.
Yeah, and when you think about, because I know a lot of people are going to go right to that, right, the comparison of the Great Depression. I mean, obviously, right, when you got those kinds of numbers, this is something that in our lifetime, this will probably be our quote-unquote Great Depression. But I think it's different from my perspective. And here's why, John. Going into this, we were extremely strong, right? We were having incredible employment levels, right? We know that. So this isn't what I would call kind of a systemic downturn, right, where we saw this coming and things were going in that direction, things were going down. This is what I almost call kind of a situational shock to the system. right? And so that's why I think if we all focus on the fact that this was situational in nature, an enemy did hit us that we didn't see coming, but we're going to get through it. And because this is what we do, right? We're going to figure this out together. I think we're going to come out of it a lot faster than we've ever seen in the past whenever we've had these kinds of downturns. And again, and things like, if we could, because I know you brought me on to talk about the Paycheck Protection Program, which is one of the biggest provisions that was in that $2.3 trillion stimulus bill, John. It's $350 billion really going to Main Street America for our small business owners to really keep people employed. When we see programs like that, and I feel very encouraged about it because it was desperately needed. And I have to tell you, hats off to Secretary Mnuchin and the rest of his team and others who are involved in it. This is pretty Herculean in nature if you think about it. The bill was just signed into law last Friday, a week ago.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And for the government to put together a $350 billion lending program in a matter of a week, it's pretty amazing.
It is. It is amazing. And also to get, and I've complimented you on this before. I know that you were at the engine of the implementation for this and how it would go to be, but it's a one-page form with a one-page worksheet behind it. Certainly have to have all the backup. I mean, that goes with any time you're applying for a loan from your local bank, so you have to have all of the backup. But this is the thing. Anybody that has a small business, they've got QuickBooks, they got a P&L, you have something, you did your taxes, right? So you already have the backup. So it's a matter of just copying it and sending it over. But we did ours in under an hour, and it's like real. Now, it isn't going to help every business, and it's not meant to bail you out. But what it is meant for is, look, I got a receivables issue. I've lost some business. I got to maintain my payroll between now and the end of May, maybe the middle of June, whenever to get this thing open. There's going to be relief for that. And the other thing is, a lot of people said to me, well, all that means is I have to pay it back. No, you don't, because if you qualify for the money, the loan, you do it the right way within the law, and then you take the money and you maintain your existing payroll and your existing expenses, rent, mortgage, utilities, the majority of that you're going to get back, or it isn't going to be a loan. It'll be a grant, right?
Yeah, and that's right. If you don't mind, I'll go into a couple of specifics right now, John.
Yes, please.
And because I think this is what's most important to your viewers. First of all, if I could say jobcreatorsnetwork.com, folks can go there as we're talking right now, or even after the show, jobcreatorsnetwork.com. My team just uploaded all the new stuff that came in at just after midnight last night. All the new information is uploaded there, so everything on there is current. The application form, the actual how-to, all that's there. So I encourage people to go there. But really quickly, yes, $350 billion for forgivable loans. If they do it in the following way, the loan proceeds are used to cover payroll costs, mortgage interest, rent, utility costs, and by the way, even the interest of the loan, which is at 1% during this deferment period, that part, if you do what specifically it's asked to do, which is to cover payroll, even the interest payments are picked up by the government. So this is literally a grant if you follow the rules in terms of applying it to keep people on payroll. Employee and compensation levels are maintained, which is great. Healthcare costs, by the way, benefits and all that is also part of that payroll cost, so all that's included. And it is capped at $100,000, right, in terms of per employee. So it isn't out there to compensate your your highly compensated employees. It really is for that everyday person, that the hourly employees out there that are really the backbone of the small business community. So starting today, small businesses, sole proprietors, they can apply to receive loans to cover again those payroll costs and other expenses. And here's something really, really important, John. I'm really excited about. Yes, SBA 7A lenders, you can go there and do that. But here's what's, I think, even more important. Any any FDIC institution, basically, any federally insured credit union and farm credit system institution, they are also going to be eligible to give these loans as well. The lenders right now are literally going through the process. That was something that was in negotiations through last night. So they're going through that, but they don't have to. They're basically filling out a one-pager to be able to access the portal of the small business. Right. But it is not a small business 7A loan. This is a completely separate loan from the 7A type loans. And so I want people to understand that they don't have to go just to an SBA 7 lender. They can go to any FDIC bank, any federally insured credit union, and Farm Bureau, Farm Credit System institution. That is huge. April 3rd for that. And April 10th, John, you and I have talked about this a lot. Independent contractors and self-employed individuals starting April 10th can also apply and receive loans to cover their payroll and certain other expenses. Treasury and SBA is still going through kind of the fine-tuning of how that's picked up in terms of what needs to be shown for documentation and stuff. But that's really exciting news, too. So for the first time ever, you can also pick that up as well. And that's April 10th.
Walk us through.
This is big stuff.
Alfredo, do you have just 2 more minutes? Or do
you
you have a hard?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Walk us through. There's a lot of independent contractors I've gotten texts from that listen to our show where, they don't really have a company. They're just, they send invoices out. They get paid on a 1099. So there's not really a company there. And that's their income. They pay taxes on it, obviously. So how would they qualify? Walk us through, just give an example.
So let me get to this. So payroll costs for the independent contractor or the sole proprietor, very important here. So what they're looking at is wages, commissions, income, or net earnings from self-employment capped at $100,000 on an annualized basis for each employee. So again, everything's capped at that $100,000, right? This is not there to make you whole in terms of your lost revenue, and I think people have to understand that. This is a program basically to try to help cover your expenses for these next 2 months, right? So nobody should think that they're going to be able to do what they were doing before this crisis hit, right, in terms of their revenues and their net earnings. That's just not going to happen. This is really to help your expenses as much as possible to maintain you. Remember, I've talked about that standby mode. This is to try to keep everybody on standby so that when we do have this rebound and the demand, pent-up demand that is going to come out once we're past this, once it hits, you and everybody else, the small businesses are ready to go.
Everybody understands this. So if you have a small business and you have 3 independent contractors who you pay on a 1099 to help your company operate, regardless of what they do, maybe they do your web design, maybe they do your digital, maybe they deliver for you, maybe they help you, but they're independent contractors, okay? When you make your application today, they're not part of your calculation for wages and benefits.
That's right, John.
They're not part of that.
Very important to understand that.
Right. So they're not part of that. The only people that are part of it is the sole proprietor that gets their income from the company and the people that are on a W-2 wage, right? That's how it's calculated.
But John, let me caveat that because there's a little bit. This is really important. But those independent contractors you just described, they're eligible to apply for their own loans
separately. Right. That's the key.
You're covering your piece, and they have to apply for their piece, right? Because what they don't want is the double counting, right? This is what they're trying to do, and that's why they were excluded in your calculation. Because otherwise, think about the potential for double counting.
Right. So basically, as the employer, you have independent contractors. They're not part of your calculation for your loan, but the independent contractor themselves can go and apply on the 10th, and they can go forward this. And obviously, this is not going to affect every business. And I'll just give you an example. We own 2 businesses. We have a network and we have a radio station, 2 radio stations, and one of them qualified, one did not. And so not every business is going to qualify. If you don't have W-2 employees flowing through that, it's not going to qualify. But if you do, that's how it works. Okay, got a couple of questions. Barry in Weir's Cave, Virginia, says, John, can an employer who has already laid people off bring them back once they get the approval for the loan?
Yes. The good news is that also part to rehire people who may have already furloughed. This is retroactive to February 15th.
Okay. And then Rich in Virginia Beach says, is there someone we can call to walk us through if we have questions along the way? Your banker. I mean, you go to your bank.
Exactly.
Just go straight to your bank.
That's right, John. That's why I'm really excited about this, because hopefully everybody who has a small business that's listening to this has a relationship with their banker, right? That's the best thing to do. I recommend pick up the phone and call your banker. If you have a good relationship, and again, hopefully you have it as a vendor, as a merchant, or as a small business, they're the ones that are going to help you. And that's why I'm excited that it's not just SBA kind of lending. folks, where you have to call an 800 number or sit online and take some crashes and stuff like that. You can literally go to your banker. Now, people are going to have to show patience. I'm just telling you right now. So the lending system literally just got this information just after midnight last night. Mm-hmm. So they have to upload, they have to get into the portal, they have to put into the system. So is it going to be available at 9 a.m.? I'm not sure, John. I'm hopeful that it will be available sometime today, and they can start processing the application sometime today.
This is probably certainly the $1,200 per person, 24 married couple, 500 for children. I mean, I've talked to friends of mine that own small businesses that qualify for that. That's going to get them through April. So that's big. But again, Alfredo, I cannot overemphasize the critical cornerstone of this small business plan and the number of businesses that this $350 million loan program is going to save, Alfredo, is going to save, is in the millions.
Yeah, we agree. And it's important. Like I said, last thing, John, to leave everyone with is have patience. This is a Herculean thing that has just been pulled off in 1 week. I mean, it's unbelievable. And all the bugs there are bugs in the system right now, I'm sure. People are going to get through it, but together we will all get through this. So I just, my last parting thoughts, if I could, and jobcreatorsnetwork.com, please, John, jobcreatorsnetwork.com. We're trying to upload information literally as we get it. Sometimes just tips about different things and ideas and how everybody can also help be part of the solution. So I encourage people to go there.
Go to jobcreatorsnetwork.com, jobcreatorsnetwork.com, and all the information is there. Also, you can comment on it again. I want to thank Alfredo Ortiz for being with us. He is the president and CEO of the Job Creators Network and jobcreatorsnetwork.com. And Alfredo, you showed tremendous leadership. I know you were your team was telling me you were getting 2 or 3 hours sleep an evening trying to get this done. But thank you for your hard work. And all small businesses in the United States that are able to survive due to this loan, they owe Alfredo Ortiz a thanks for getting this done. Thank you.
It was a team effort, but I'm just glad to be part. I can do my part. How's that?
All right, man. Thank you.